Good evening, everybody. This is the June 7th meeting of the Concord School District School Board's Capital Facilities Committee, and it's going to be a light, sort of quick meeting, so we have our full committee in attendance. Board members here include Kara Meeker, Jonathan Weinberg, Bob Cotton, and Pamela Walsh, along with Superintendent Murphy and Matt Cashman, our Facilities Director. So I am going to hand the microphone over to Matt and let him tell us all his good news.
Thanks, Barb. This is an update meeting, so we'll go through several items here. I'm just waiting for the... So what we want to talk about, this is just a little slower than I expected. We want to talk about our summer projects that we have going on. As you know, through the budget period, we talked about the different things we're doing, and then we went through a whole this winter time and then into the spring, putting things out to bid and then getting results and scheduling the work. So that's been going on, and we'll do an update on that. We'll talk about the Zoom meeting that we had last night on lead, and then we'll talk briefly about the Concord Tree Subcommittee, and then just give an update on our August meeting that we're going to have a special guest come to. So getting right into last night, we started at 5:30. We had roughly 9 people in attendance. Most of them were Superintendent Murphy, myself, members of the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services, and a agency that they've contracted with called Get the Lead Out. We did an overview of the things that we've been doing and talked a little bit about the RSA 485-17A, which passed in 2018. And then we also talked about how the levels of lead in drinking water went from 15 parts per billion and then was reduced in 2022 to 5 parts per billion. And we talked about, as part of that law that started in 18, that all school districts and child care facilities have to test their water outlets at 3 separate times, ending in 2024 of June. But I don't think that's truly going to end. I think there's going to be continual testing that goes on beyond that. But we talked about the process, like we did the other night, about remediation, and we had found some faucets that were at 5 parts per billion or more, and we walked through the different options of what you would do, whether you remove the faucet entirely, repurpose it, or replace the faucet and then retest. We were able to cover a lot of ground. We had DES chimed in and talked a lot. I guess the only part that shocked us is we had what looked like a staff member and one phone caller came in that was via phone, not via the computer. But we gave several opportunities during the presentation, and we didn't get any questions. But we did emphasize that on our website, all the information is posted. We did go through the mandatory notification. When we find lead in the drinking water, we put out a parent square. We also put it on our website, and we also notify the DES with our remediation plan. So I felt it was good. We're going to take that Zoom meeting and put it on our website so that, this time of year it can be tough with members of the public coming to meetings, so we want to make that available for folks to also hear the same thing that you have an overview of now. Does anyone have any questions on that?
Just one quick question. You mentioned at the bottom there about future funding available. What?
Yeah. So
is that for testing or remediation or both?
The bottles and the laboratory that they also did an RFP. So out of Marietta, Ohio, there's a lab that does all the testing that they awarded. That is funded by the state. The tough part is the labor to do all the testing. So the 2 people we send out to test all the bottles, the packaging up, and then when it comes to the physical cost of not just retesting, but changing out the fixture. We're buying the fixture and we're installing it. Right now, that's on us, but I did talk with DES throughout the whole process, and we're keeping very accurate records and receipts and charting the time so that if they do make more funding available, we can use that and backdate it to be covered. So I thought that was good news.
Yeah. Just one other question. Is this program, I mean, I know it relates to all the schools. Is other municipal things as well being tested, or?
We're going to, Kathleen and I spoke, we're going to test the SAU. We're going to get through the schools first.
No, I know that, but I meant, do you know if it's a broader program to test, like?
Restaurants and businesses?
No, like the pools, for example.
Bob, I don't know the answer to that exactly right now. I think eventually you'll see it get more widespread. The city is very involved with DES, so we talked a little bit in that meeting about the city, and the city's got excellent water. We did emphasize, I'm kind of walking my way into this, that lead paint is really what
Right.
needs to be focused on because it's a higher concentration, but also, we try to really emphasize, and I think we did in the newspaper yesterday, get your water tested at home too. Don't just rely on the schools.
Bob, the only other institution, if you will, that they mentioned would be child care centers.
Okay.
So it would be public schools and all schools and child care.
Moving on to, this is always a busy time for us, but it's a fun time for us. I'm going to show you some pictures. We've got 3 really nice projects that are slated for the CRTC, where we've had the holiday meeting and dinner. That whole room, we're completely going in there and putting a brand new face on it. That'll be exciting. I'm going to show you a quick little blueprint on that. In the CRTC itself, there's a conference room. We're going to convert that into a conference and break room. And then another really exciting thing is the business office on the west building. That's a larger than your typical classroom. So we're building an office space, and we're also putting new furniture in, but it's going to be collaborative type tables with a computer screen. And Ann
is that?
Fowler's, what's that?
What classroom is that?
W3087.
It's sort of
So
near
it's
the PE
above,
classroom?
it's technically the west, but it's on the very edge of the west,
Yeah, like
in
near the
between.
athletic stuff?
Yes.
Okay, I know
Yeah.
exactly where it is. That'll be nice.
So Ann's been tremendous. Jason, the head cook over there, have been very involved, and we've actually been doing a lot of the planning and work all over the last several months. So we're going to start next Wednesday in that room. We're clear to start the demo, and we're excited to give you progress reports on it and show you along the way. The other typical type stuff that we do with the capital improvement money that we have over the summers is we're doing interior and exterior painting. So we have a crew of 4 people that will work their way through school by school. We have painting lists along with these projects that you see up there. So they're going to be busy. Always gives a nice facelift. We're going to be doing 4 of our schools, the parking lot striping. Last year we did 2, but they're definitely in need of it. So at Crystal McAuliffe, the high school, Beaver Meadow, and Broken Ground. We have a ledge repair that we're going to be doing at Beaver Meadow. I'll show you a picture of that. You're aware of the Broken Ground HVAC. That project won't start because of the long lead times until the summer of '24, but there's a lot of interior conduit and prep work we can put in. We're going to be doing a drainage correction at Crystal McAuliffe. I'll show a picture of the white farm outside paint on the Project C building that we're going to abate and redo. I'm working with food service. We're working on putting a freezer at both the high school and Beaver Meadow. We also have a picture of an accessible swing that would be over at Broken Ground, which would be really neat. We have a heating repair, that we had some issues with the heating system at Runlet, so we're going to be we're in the middle of some mechanical engineering design, and then we're going to implement that as well. CRTC, which is right above has a large window. It's a window that's leaked over the years, and so we're replacing that. Eastman has some heating work, and then of course the lead testing will continue until we complete round 2 that we're doing right
How
now.
much is the Eastman work?
Eastman's about a $7,800. It's a steam leak down in the right next to the boiler.
Do the tenants contribute to that, or is that?
That's all part of the
All part of
lease. Yeah. And then I always like to show some pictures of what we do. So there's a little bit distorted, but this is the CRTC dining. So if you look, I'll use my mouse here. If you look over in this section, this is the 2 doors you have in and out of the kitchen. Right in here, we're going to put a full countertop on a lower half with cabinetry. You have right here and right here, we'll have 2 upper cabinets with lighting in them. And then we'll have a 70-inch TV that will all be tied in. So this room will turn into a multi-function room. So it obviously will fit the needs for CRTC food service, but it also upgrades the whole space. We'll be putting a long, kind of like a kickstand style upper seating, if you will, where students can plug their devices or computers in along this wall. This is where the teacher's going to be, but it's also going to look and feel more like a restaurant and give them that firsthand.
They're going to invest in some real tables?
We are working on doing that. I'll tell you, Anne has been great to work with. She's so energetic. She's got so much. I don't want to steal any thunder because she's got some great ideas, and we've talked about having her come and also as we're halfway through this project.
When that addition was first built in '96, when the whole East Building was opened, that was a restaurant. People
Yeah.
could come in and order food, and
I
it was
think
with
that's her intent.
tables and chairs around, and it was a restaurant.
She's got great ideas. They've come up with
Yeah,
a name
that's
for
nice.
it. Yeah. So I think this is going to be very, it's going to be a proud moment. I think it's going to be a really nice upgrade. So we have that. We're also, as we talked about, we have the small break room. So, where the CRTC main offices are, we have that side conference room, and we're gonna bring some plumbing in, put a sink, refrigerator, add a closet, so it'll be more functional when she has outside groups and presenters, and then she wants collaboration with her teachers. So we'll make better use of that space. So this is the business office. So this is really just showing a quarter of the space. So it's a long rectangular space, roughly 2,000 square feet. So this section is about 8 feet wide by 12 feet. We're going to add a desk here. There'll be a window into the space right here, and obviously a door. And they want to use this as interview training and all sorts of business review type training. The rest of the classroom goes all down this way. So again, it's about a quarter of what you're seeing. But in the classroom, we're going to be putting these collaborative tables, about 5 of them, to allow 4 or 5 people around to be looking at a screen and do small projects. And she has a ticker tape machine that's going to go around just to really give kids that are interested in business a good start. So when we talk about the ledge repair, I always feel like a picture's worth 1,000 words. So in the lower, as you know, Beaver Meadow is a 2-story building, but because of the elevation, you walk in from the top and you walk into essentially the first floor, and then you have the lower floor, which is towards the back. This ledge is a service entry up above here. And just over the years, it's cantilevered. So it's what you see in parking garages. This is all preformed concrete. Over the years, it's settled just a little bit. So as part of that, down this line right here, when we put snow melt and salt, it has dribbled down the wall and then got on the outside of these two exterior doors. This is to the boiler room. This is the backside of the gym. So we're going to bring a crew in, Erickson, that we've been talking with, and where my cursor is, we're going to put a foundation pad. We're having it all analyzed by our structural engineer, and then we're going to pour a pad and have a column put in, and then we'll put fascia around it just to give it that added support. And then you can't see it on this picture, but down this area and towards the door to the upper service area, and then along that side, we're going to put industrial caulking in there to seal that up and keep the water going to the drainage that's in there already. So it's a maintenance item. It's something that we, obviously have been watching over the years, and this is the time to get it corrected.
Oh, are you fixing the door?
As part of this, we're replacing the two doors, but I want to get these
No,
fixes
we like the
first.
color scheme with the doors.
Yeah, I know.
It doesn't look, it makes it look not well maintained.
It looks that way, but it's very difficult with the gap. That's,
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
why we're
Yep.
trying to control where that water goes. Krista McAuliffe. So I'm going to show you this quickly and save that to your memory, and then we're going to go to the next photo, which is essentially a blueprint, a site plan of what we're talking about. But if this, where my cursor is the playground, this walkway right here, you can see over time people walking, and it's always been a pretty wet site. We've known that even during construction. We're going to add some drainage here. This sidewalk crosses here before you get underneath the tower. You'd go into the front door this way. All of this was taken after heavy rainstorms. So it comes down through here. This will make sense on the next slide. This is the side of the building. So this is the side of the building, right? This is the tower that we talked about. This whole area, we're excavating down, putting drainage in. We're connecting to existing storm drainage underneath the slab. Then we're going to fill this back in with erosion control and grass. We've worked with a tree subcommittee. I've talked with Tom about these 10 abrevieties we're going to add to this to help mitigate the water, but also to offer more of the opportunity to come around this way along the path. We're also going to add
But they sled there.
I know. Well,
Right, they're gonna-
you know,
I missed the
when
big
we get it
snowbank days
fixed.
of the Kimball School playground. Oh,
Yeah,
that was some fun snow.
I knew that was going to come up.
Yeah. Why don't we just make it flat like it used to be, and then there'd be no drainage trouble at all?
Yeah, right.
Pretty stone wall at the back, nice flat playground, plenty of room for everybody.
That's true. But we have the ADA walkway here, and I drew this red line in because we're actually going to start this on Monday the 26th. So we're not wasting any time. It's about a week's worth of work. All the materials have been ordered, but we are, just for safety, we've talked to the school. We've also talked to Boys and Girls Club. We're going to run just a temporary fence here and have people, just so that when we do all this work and install all this drainage and do the work out here, that everything's safe.
So will they have access to the playground or no?
They will have access to the
Okay.
playground. I just want to be deliberate on creating a barrier, because not just for
The
me.
barrier just looks like it cuts off the playground. That's what-
It does. I tried to draw it in there as best I could
But-
electronically, but it will be a caution tape,
Yep.
and we'll have eyes on it just to make sure that. But yes, the playground will be in full operation.
Matt,
Yes.
when you said grasses and arborvitae, have you consulted with a landscape architect on like the root structure of those plants and whether they'll actually provide the stability you're looking for?
So this drawing was done by Novus Engineering. It was originally done by HMFH. Nobis was the engineer of record. And so designing what you see in yellow and in green and with red lines for structural piping, they did all that work. So they do have a landscape architect, but I could get you more information on that if you want.
I mean, I am curious.
Yeah.
I do know that,
Yeah.
you know, just some species have deep roots that hold the slope together, and then others are
That's true.
shallow and don't do much work at all. So if we're spending money on plant work, I'm just curious.
Sure. All right. I'll get that. I'll get the name and who we talked with that way. All right. Any questions on that? I'm looking forward to that project. That will be about a week long, but I think this will really make a huge difference to that erosion that we've seen. That's the Project C building on Clinton Street, so we're going to be doing the lead abatement on the outside of that this summer as well. We're putting in late summer. It's already been ordered. We're putting a accessible swing at Broken Ground. That's going to go in between the connection point where the ramp is. That's going to come right from the tar where the basketball courts are, and it's going to be in between the play sets. So it's going to be a nice feature. We picked the colors to go with the school.
Is there an intention to have one at every school?
I think that's something we should really start talking about at future meetings, because that has definitely come up in the past. So,
I mean, off the top of your head, how much does a unit like that
well,
cost?
that one was $89,000.
Yeah.
And that's not off the top of my head, that's a real number.
That's
Yeah, right.
But that's,
I mean,
but that's,
I just
but that's
meant,
all,
like, did
that's
you
all.
happen to have, it in your head, so.
Yep, no, that there's a process to it. It has to be installed by a licensed installer, and with that, there's a poured section. So it's when it arrives, it's about a 2-week process.
And what was the wait time? Was there a long?
There was, when we ordered it several weeks ago, or a month ago, it was about 26 weeks, which puts us at the end of August when we ordered it. And then we have about a 2-week install period.
Thank you.
So, again, Concord Tree Subcommittee, they spoke a little bit at the meeting the other night.
And was Broken Ground chosen? Why was I'm just curious. Was there a reason Broken Ground in particular for? I know there's a semi-accessible, like some of the newer schools.
Sure.
I'm just curious.
I believe that John Fabrizio was working with some parents over there, and it came across. But I think it's the right thing to do. I'm excited about it.
Yes, no, it's great.
There's one in southern New Hampshire that is very, very similar. So we saw pictures of that, and Katie Mackey, the assistant principal, she's been very involved in it too. So we're excited. Again, an update. I've talked to Tom Daigle several times. I continue to look forward to working with them. We did the 2 trees here several years ago. We've done a couple of trees at Abbott Downing over the years, and then we're doing about 3 more trees next week, I believe, at Abbott Downing. And then, of course, we have our Krista McAuliffe arborvitae trees that we're putting in. But it's a great program, and I think we'll continue to be partners with that.
Where does the funding come for that? And I mean, is that school district money? Does the state help out in some way? Do we get the stuff from the state?
I don't know if Kara has more information on that. We have volunteers and we help. I call and get all the dig safe stuff arranged. But it's more of a voluntary action. I want to say it's a donation, but that's a good.
Okay.
You're nodding your head,
No,
so
that's great.
I think it's pretty much donations.
I think it's donations, and the subcommittee's, currently looking at like grants and accessing, money for collaborative projects in the future, so.
There are the state farm. You can
I was going to say, I noticed.
You can get like costs, seedlings and
Right.
trees.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's out in Boscawen, actually. Or at least one of them. Yeah.
But we're going to beat the drum with the other schools. I think it's a great program, and it's a good partnership.
I know Tom's excited. When I was coming tonight, he was like, "Oh, I should have called Matt." I'm like,
Good,
you don't
good,
have to
good,
call Matt
good.
every
Nope,
day.
yeah. And then we're looking forward to, on August 2nd, it's right around the corner. On Wednesday, August 2nd,
Hush.
we're gonna have a capital facilities meeting. But I think the highlight is Amy Clark from Department of Education is gonna be here to talk to us and update us on the building aid program and any changes to it. And the timing's perfect, so
I will, sorry to miss that, I will not be here on August 2nd.
we'll tape it. We'll tape
Watch
it.
the video.
Pam, you can send me all your questions.
I was just gonna
and
say
I'll
the
ask
same
them.
thing because I'll know you have questions and they're gonna be good
And
questions.
then I'll sound really smart.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
it'll be perfect.
I was like, wait, no, send me the question.
Let me throw one last thing in there, and I realized it after I made the presentation, but please know that our custodians are in all of our schools, and in the summertime, our second shift custodians and 2 third shift, they come on to first shift, and we really try to knock a lot of work out. We are understaffed, but we've been able to get 5 people out of food service, so we're real excited. We're doing all the paperwork with that now, and I think it's a little bit different than what we normally do, but they really work hard to maintain the inside and outside, and it's been a tougher year because of shortages in staffing. So
Well, and buildings aren't empty in the summer like they used to be.
No, they're not.
Schools were just giant empty shells for 2 months.
that's very
Everything
true.
was so shiny when you came back.
And when kids are exercising on a rainy day, they'll run through the
Oh, I've been
halls of the high school too. So.
responsible for that.
Thank you,
So-
Pam.
Sure, that's what I had for tonight.
Does anyone else have any?
I was actually wondering if we could make a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A, 3D and L, lands and legal advice.
Second.
All right, so moved by Pam, seconded by Jonathan. All those in favor for going into non-public?
It has to be roll call.
Oh, we do. All right then, Jonathan,
Aye.
Mr. Cotton,
Aye.
Ms. Walsh.
Aye.
And I say aye. All right then, the ayes have it.
I'm a Jonathan, and they're a Mr. and Ms.
Yeah, I could be your grandmother. I could be your grandmother.
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna come back. I don't think there's anything to
No,
come
no, no.
back after. For
No, so we can adjourn the public meeting and
So I'll
then
tell
go into non-public. And a motion to adjourn?
We can't do a
Not
motion
yet.
to adjourn until we come back
Come
out.
back. Okay, fine.
Got to seal the minutes and then.
That's all in there, not here.
No.
So can we go now?